What is going on, Pats Nation? It's your boy Colby, also known as Patriots Global, back here with another one. And with the New England Patriots Week 4 matchup right around the bend, there is no better way to get ready for this matchup. Can the Patriots come back and be the team that we saw from the first 2 weeks? Do they come back here, come back down to earth for another week and look like the team that we saw against the Jets? I got my boy Jesse on for the 49ers, and we are going to talk all about it. So let's break it down. Of course, guys, as always, this video is brought to you by BetUS. We'll talk to you guys a little bit later how you can get an exclusive 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit, followed up by 125 on your next 2 deposits, all the way up to $2,000. But Jesse, buddy, how you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic, man. Ready for another week of football. Colby, there is nothing better than football season. I love that we are fully entrenched in it right now.
Yeah, look, there is no better content creator for the 49ers than Jesse. We're going to have his stuff linked in the description box below. But Jesse, you kind of want to talk about your channel, the kind of content you make, and just a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, man. You can check me out at Last Second Sports. I mostly talk San Francisco 49ers. I've been doing it for about 3 years now, man. I grew up on this team. I'm an old man, much older than you. It was a little bit of a shot to my heart when we were doing my show and you told me you were born in 2001. That was the year I graduated high school, Colby, and I've been a 49er fan since I was 6 years old. So absolutely love this team, but I'm very critical of them. So 49er fans, I'm hit and miss with, because I will hold the 49ers feet to the fire, but when it comes down to it, absolutely love this team. So there it is.
Respect, brother. Respect. Now, real quick, what are your thoughts on the 49ers so far through 3 weeks? Obviously, you went to the Super Bowl last year. You were so close to pulling one out against the Chiefs. Unfortunately, weren't able to, but it feels like every single year, y'all are either winning the NFC or you're at least going to the NFC Championship game. So what is the narrative? Is this still the San Francisco 49ers that everybody's come to know and love over the last few years, or has this team come back down to earth?
Man, I think it remains to be seen. I mean, this is, I'm disappointed, but not surprised. The 49ers lost the Super Bowl, and the Super Bowl hangover is a real thing, unless you're Tom Brady. You know that. The only quarterback to somehow win after losing a Super Bowl is Tom Brady in any recent memory. But the San Francisco 49ers did lose the Super Bowl last year. I went to training camp. Vibes were way down. Something was off with this team. I couldn't figure it out. Was it because Trent wasn't there? Was it because Ayuk wasn't there? Then they come out week 1 and absolutely beat the brakes off the Jets. And was like, whoa, maybe none of that mattered. Maybe none of it mattered. Well, apparently I was wrong, because the next week they lose to the Minnesota Vikings, which in hindsight isn't a horrible loss, watching them beat the Texans the way they did. But what was a horrible loss was last week in division, losing in essentially what's a home game for you over at Levi South, we call it, SoFi Stadium, playing the LA Rams, and you have a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter. And once again, Kyle Shanahan and his team blows a 10-point lead to a very banged up Rams team, a game that you certainly should have won. So right now, the 49ers are fighting for their season, Colby. And yes, I think the Patriots are very beatable. They should be a get-right game just based off of all the injuries that the Patriots have and kind of where you guys are at and starting the franchise over. But man, if the 49ers somehow find a way to lose this, it's over for them.
It still blows my mind that Jets fans really thought that they were going to beat you week 1 and that they were going to see you in the Super Bowl later in the postseason and beat you then. My mind can't comprehend it. But Jets fans, I know some of you are watching. If you're a good one, I appreciate you. But if you're a delusional one, comment in the comment section what the heck's going on, because that one never made sense. X's and O's, they're not adding up here. But what I do want to talk about next is I do kind of want to get into the injury report for both of our teams, because there's some big names for both the Patriots and the 49ers. Guys that if they play or they don't play could be a very, very big difference maker. So For the Patriots, this came out today. We didn't get one on the 49ers today, which was a little bit weird, but we will talk about what we heard yesterday and, of course, your thoughts on players that you're hearing. But on the Patriots side of things, Alex Austin, he's in with an ankle injury. He's officially out this game. I actually thought that he would be a guy that made more sense for the Patriots to play over Marco Wilson. Marco Wilson, who's like, what, a 5'9", 5'10" cornerback, who they played the first 2 weeks, didn't do too well. They benched week 3 for Alex Austin. Alex Austin didn't look great, was banged up, but I thought that he would be a good guy to have some depth for somebody like Jawan Jennings. I think that made a lot more sense, but he's going to be out this game. Michael Jordan, the Patriots starting left guard, who has been their best offensive lineman so far through 3 weeks, he's out this game. Patriots offensive line just taking more and more hits that you didn't think it could get worse. We might allow a 70% pressure rate this week because things are not looking up for this O-line. And then Vidarian Lowe, our starting left tackle, he's officially out for this game. He was out against the Jets last week. It sounds like he's trending in the right direction. He was almost able to play against the Jets. Sounds like they're just taking precaution. He should be able to go for week 5, I believe, when we play the Miami Dolphins. But at least for this week, the Patriots will be repping a new left tackle. And then guys that are questionable, kind of going to be game time decisions. Anthony Jennings, Patriots' best run-stopping defensive lineman, dealing with a shoulder injury. He's questionable. Jonathan Jones dealing with a shoulder injury. He's questionable. Sidy Sow, who we haven't seen all regular season because he got injured in the preseason. Maybe the Patriots get some reinforcements back for that O-line, and this can kind of help diminish what they're losing from Michael Jordan, but that's going to be a game-time decision. And then the rookie left tackle, Caden Wallace, dealing with a knee injury that he suffered against the Jets last week when he took the start for the Patriots on the left side. He's also questionable, so that's going to be interesting. Now, Jesse, what are you hearing in terms of the 49ers, guys who that could be coming back, guys that are maybe dealing with an injury that we might not see?
Yeah, so 2 guys that are definitely out. Javon Hargrave tore his triceps last week against the Rams. His season sounds like it's done. And then Curtis Robinson is a younger player that we're really excited about. A lot of 49er fans have been calling for him to play over Devondre Campbell. He, in practice yesterday, sounds like he tore his ACL, so he's now done for the season. They're already without Dre Greenlaw, who's been on the injury report and injury reserve, rather, the whole season. And we know about Christian McCaffrey is also out. But the players that are questionable, Deebo Samuel was supposed to miss about 2 weeks. Sounds like he's on track to play this week. You've got D. Winters, who is also another linebacker that potentially could replace Devondre Campbell. He was hurt, came back last week, tweaked his ankle in the game. He's questionable. Jordan Elliott, who was supposed to be filling in for Javon Hargrave, was also carted off the field the same day Curtis Robinson was with his ACL tear. But Jordan Elliott sounds like he sprained his foot, but he's likely going to play. Talanoa Hufanga, who came back last week from his ACL tear the year prior, tweaked his ankle in practice. He is questionable. And then today, popping up on their injury report for the first time, Trent Williams was some sort of toe injury. You would think it was a precautionary thing, but reports were not only was he not practicing, but he had a very noticeable limp. So there's a really good chance he just doesn't play in this game. They're going to try to, be safe with him. I don't know if it's a turf toe. I don't know if he broke his toe. I'm really not sure, but that one caught us by surprise. And then another thing that caught us by surprise is George Kittle, who was out last week with a hamstring injury. Sounds like he's a full go. So he's definitely going to be playing this week for sure.
And let me tell you, the Patriots have had some issues with tight ends, especially kind of these star tight ends. They seem to be under this philosophy of let's take away your star receivers. Let's take away your running backs. If you're going to beat us and get any production offensively, you're going to have to do it through your tight ends. And George Kittle's just a multi-dimensional player in terms of blocking, in terms of his receiving threat. My favorite tight end, like I told you, Jesse, my favorite tight end since Rob Gronkowski. This is a guy that can stay on the field on every single down, and you don't know if they're going to run the ball, if they're going to pass the ball, and what's going to happen. So definitely could potentially be a big game for George Kittle, but that's going to be a guy that the Patriots are going going to have to stop if they're going to try to win this game in any stretch of the imagination. But guys, before we continue on today's video, real quick, I do want to give a massive shout out to the sponsors of this channel over at BetUS. Right now, when you guys sign up for BetUS, either on their website or download their mobile app, you sign up, takes less than 60 seconds. You'll use that promo code that you see on the screen right now, YouTube150. That is YouTube150 to get a 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit, followed by a 125% sign-up bonus on your next 2 deposits, all the way up to $2,000. That is a deal on your first 3 deposits. BetUS can also give you a 200% crypto deposit bonus. They have the fastest payouts in the industry, fast and easy deposit and withdrawal process, 24/7 personalized service, 365 days a year, live wagering on all major games, best betting variety in the business. You guys can even get a 10% back on your net losses 2 times a year, and BetUS can give you your very own personalized account manager. Most importantly, though, guys, play responsibly. Never bet more than you can afford to lose. This is just to give you a little bit of extra fun this upcoming football season. If you or somebody you know or love has an issue, please reach out and get the proper help that you need. You can actually go to BetUS's website, and they have a section dedicated for those who are dealing with these types of issues and struggles. But again, go ahead and sign up and use that code YouTube150. But Jesse, I do want to move on here, and you kind of alluded to the fact that maybe this team hasn't looked the same. They haven't looked like the team that we're used to seeing, and it's early on, so they can always bounce back. But at least for this game specifically, why don't you tell me why it is the Niners have disappointed? What about this team has made them a little bit more flawed and hasn't made them look as dynamic as we've seen in recent years?
Yeah, interestingly enough, most of the injuries have been on the offensive side of the ball. So you would think, well, the offense is struggling. This is a team that's always been led by the defense. The defense is relatively healthy. That couldn't be further from the truth. The offense is holding up their end of the bargain. The defense so far has been not only under standard, but downright awful. Right now, the 49ers rank 26th in third down conversions given up a game at 6. They rank 30th in yards per play at 6.1. They rank 21st in yards per carry at 4.5 and 31st in yards per completion at 12.6 and 21st in points per game at 23. Right now, this defense is doing nothing well. Not a thing. They can't stop the run. They can't stop the pass. They can't keep teams out of the end zone. They're not forcing a lot of turnovers. They're not getting after the quarterback. Nothing is going right. And that sounds crazy for a team that has Bosa and Warner and Charvarius Ward and Hufanga and many, many other really good players. They're just not getting it done. They have to figure it out. The defense right now is a real problem. And also, interestingly enough, Colby, they fired their defensive coordinator, Steve Wilkes, because he was the quote unquote problem last year. They gave up 17.5 points a game last year. This year, they're giving up 23. So was he really the problem, or is this defense aging? Are they not playing hard? Is it a scheme issue? There's so many different directions I can go. But what I do know is they got to figure it out, and they got to figure it out very, very quickly.
Yeah, and obviously Fred Warner is an absolute dog in terms of coverage, his ability to get to the quarterback, to stop the run. He is one of the best, if not the best, do-it-all linebackers in the NFL. One of the highest graded defenders in the NFL right now, too. So he's still playing at a high level. And you might think as Patriots fans, we're like, ooh, that defense is struggling. Well, our offense is struggling. So maybe this is our opportunity to get it up and get it going. It's going to be the opposite. It's unfortunate, but we've heard this before. We heard this last week with the Jets when their defense didn't look good through 2 weeks heading into the matchup. We're like, okay, maybe this is the opportunity for the offense to get it going. Nope. If anything, this is going to be the 49ers opportunity defensively to start turning things on and get some motivation. So I can't even say that I have a lot of hope for this offense, even with hearing that news. And you know what? Hopefully we don't have a lot of Jets fans watching, because I love stats. I'm in school for sportscasting. I'm always told to back up what you're saying with facts. Don't just give biased opinions. But Jets fans don't believe that stats are appropriate. They actually believe that biased opinions hold more weight than stats, which is crazy. So if there's any Jets fans in here, I hope you guys didn't get triggered, but stats do matter even early on in the season. But look, let's get into something maybe a little bit more positive about the 49ers here. Where do you think that the Niners are dominating on the offensive side of the football? And then where do you think they're dominating on the defensive side of the football despite those struggles?
Oh man, offensively, everything. I mean, they're moving the ball very well between the 20s. What one area that they're struggling is in the red zone. But as far as in between the 20s, nobody's able to really contain them. Brock Purdy is playing phenomenal, regardless of whether the weapons have been there or not. The offensive line, believe it or not, that was supposed to be a major weakness for the 49ers, especially in pass protection. They always run the ball well, but in pass protection, it was supposed to be one of the worst offensive lines in football. They've been top half, which, listen, you may not be top five, but top half, we'll take that in pass protection. So they've been very good running the ball, even though Christian McCaffrey has not been there. They've ran the ball at a very high clip with Jordan Mason. So I have no complaints offensively other than, hey, when you get down there, you got to score touchdowns instead of field goals. But they're moving the ball very efficiently. Time of possession's been in their favor as well. Defensively, got Colby, honestly, there really is nothing. I mean, I can't hang my hat on anything. Fred Warner is the only reason that this defense has done anything of note. Week 2 against the Minnesota Vikings, that game could have been an absolute blowout in favor of the Minnesota Vikings, but Fred Warner by himself forced a fumble at like the 1-yard line when the Vikings were about to score, and then he had an interception in that game as well when the Vikings were about to score. Single-handedly took 14 points off the board, but outside of that, man, it's been a real struggle for this 49ers team.
Yeah, and especially on the Patriots side of things, maybe somewhere that they can take a little bit of an advantage is with their pass rushers, because Josh Uche, opposite of Keon White, has had one of the best overall pass rush win rates out of all edge defenders in the NFL. Believe that or not, Patriots fans, I was surprised to hear that when I saw it too. And then Keon White is also absolutely dominating. He is one of 5 edge rushers to record a 20% pass rush win rate in 2 or more games so far this season. I think he's tied right now for second or third in sacks in the NFL. He is an absolute dog, and it sounds like whether Trent Williams plays or not, that maybe you guys are struggling a little bit there, and that's something where the Patriots can take advantage. Now, according to PFF, you guys are going to be the second highest graded offensive line that the Patriots have played. So this should be an easier matchup than it was against the Jets, who have a top 10 offensive line, but it might not be as easy as when they went up against the Bengals and when they went up against the Seahawks. But moving on here, where would you say the Niners are struggling the most offensively and defensively?
Well, defensively, this is a unit that traditionally doesn't blitz a lot. They do play a lot of 4-man fronts, uh, wide 9 type of defense. But what we were kind of sold was Brandon Staley came in to be the assistant head coach, and what we thought was, well, he's going to bring that Fangio defense a little bit. He's going to bring some of the simulated pressures, a little bit more man defense here and there. And it just hasn't happened. I mean, they are the lowest team as far as blitz rate goes, which is a bit of a disappointment. I'm under the thought that if you can't get home with 4, you send 5. If you can't get home with 5, you send 6. You got to do what you can to get quarterbacks off their spots. Even bad quarterbacks, if you give them time, they're going to produce. So the 49ers have to start getting after the pass rusher. And another disappointment would be Leonard Floyd. In my opinion, when they brought in Leonard Floyd, I said, man, since 2019, they haven't had the bookend perfect defensive ends where they had Bosa, and then that year they had D Ford, who's the pure speed pass rusher. And I looked at Leonard Floyd and said, man, he can be that pure speed pass rusher outside of Bosa. Statistically, he's ranked almost dead last as far as pressure and win rate since he's been on the 49ers. I don't know if he got old overnight. I don't really understand that. This is a guy who's had nearly double-digit sacks for 3 straight seasons. He's completely fallen off a cliff, so that's been a disappointment. And then they lost Javon Hargrave, who the 2 years he's been here has been a disappointment. So there's for a team that has been dominant on the defensive line, that no longer exists. There's something going on. They've got to mix things up. They've got to get that scheme rolling, show some simulated pressures, and try to drum up some pressure rate, because right now they're not getting it with a 4-man rush. Offensively, you said something I'm disappointed in as well. Is that the question?
Yeah. Yeah. Like where would you say that biggest struggle is that maybe the Patriots can take advantage of?
Yeah, it's just not. it's just not scoring touchdowns when you're getting down in the red zone, man. Going into last week's game, they were at like 44% red zone touchdown percentage. So that's something that they've got to shore up. You know, if you let teams hang around, especially teams that you're better than, weird things can happen. And the 49ers found that out the hard way last week. Again, they had a 10-point lead. They were better than the Rams. Essentially, that was a home game. Believe it or not, they were in LA, but the 49er fans travel very well to that stadium. I would say I was at the game, 70-30 49er fans in that stadium. So it was essentially a home game for the 49ers, yet they couldn't close out a 10-point lead. Ultimately, they let a team hang around that they shouldn't have, and the Rams were able to pull that game out. So if you get down there and you're not coming away with 7, it's a problem. And Steve Young has a quote that I've always remembered. Every time you kick a field goal, you're one step closer to losing. And that's what happened last week. That's what's happened this season. The 49ers, when they get down there, they have to, instead of kicking field goals, they have to score touchdowns. So, red zone touchdown percentage, they've got to get that up if they want to be a winner, not only this week, but going forward.
It's actually really interesting too because the Patriots are very good in terms of red zone defense. The Patriots are a
There you
bend
go.
but don't break defense. They might let up some big plays here and there. They might let you drive down the field, but for the most part, they're pretty good at stopping you in your tracks and holding you to a field goal. Sounds like maybe that's an advantage that they could have in this game. A few more things here in terms of both of these offenses. The Patriots are averaging about 102 pass yards per game. The Niners are averaging about 267. Rush yards, Patriots are at 144. The Niners are at 139, so that's where the Patriots edge them out. The Patriots have only given away 1 turnover through 3 weeks. The 49ers have given away 3, so Patriots win on that side. Third down efficiency, the Niners are better, as I'm sure you could imagine. You guys are converting on third down about 41% of the time. Patriots are only about 30 to 33%. So that's definitely where New England is struggling, just to add a few statistics there. But to end this thing off, Jesse, why don't you let me know your final predictions and your score predictions for this game?
Man, it is interesting because statistically, these teams kind of match up weakness versus weakness and strength versus strength. So I'm curious to see what gives. I'm a strong believer that if a team can run the ball and not turn it over, they're going to be in a lot of games. The Patriots, I think, through the first 2 weeks showed that. Last week, for whatever reason, they didn't run the ball effectively. They didn't stick with it. This week, I'm curious to see. You said that they've only turned the ball over once. Well, if they're not going to turn it over, and if Ramondre Stevenson can run the ball, that makes things really interesting. And the 49ers can be had in the run game. Like I said, right now they rank 21st in yards per carry at 4.5 yards per carry, and they just lost Javon Hargrave. So the Patriots can run the ball effectively against the 49ers if they stick with it. That's an interesting matchup. But Colby, at the end of the day, the 49ers they're on a Super Bowl mission. They have aspirations, and this is the final year for them. Maybe that year already came and went. If they lose this game, like I said, it's over. So maybe the window's closed, but the 49ers believe that the window's wide open, and they're trying to go all in for one final hurrah here. If they are going to be Super Bowl bound again, they have to win this game, and they have to win it dominantly. The 49ers have been talking like they're still that team, but they have not been producing like they are still that team. So my call to the 49ers is produce. Show us you are who you say you are. And if that is the case, you don't only win this game, but you win it big. 30-13, 49ers. That is my challenge to you. Win this dominantly, win this going away. You are at home. You have a lot of matchups in this game that favor you. You better win by a blowout. So my score is less of a prediction and more of a challenge to the San Francisco 49ers to go out and get this thing done and do it dominantly.
Yeah, the Niners really should blow out the Patriots. Like I told you when we were on your channel, I said, every time the schedule comes out, there's just that one game where you glance and you're like circling the one game that you're like, yeah, we're getting blown out that game. That's the toughest game of the entire season. Immediately, that was this game for the Patriots. And I kind of can't wait to just kind of get past it and get the hardest game of the season, or at least what should be the hardest game of the season, out of the way. I do also have the Patriots losing this game. I'm going to say 20-10. I think you guys are going to beat us by multiple scores. I'm hoping the Patriots can keep it a little bit closer than what happened last week against the Jets. Patriots have a little bit of extra time to prepare for this game. The Niners, you guys played exactly a week ago. We don't have exactly too much of an upper hand. We have, 2 days, maybe 3 days on you here. So not too much of extra time, but a very mini bye week that you hope they're able to kind of implement this game plan a little bit and just kind of get these players maybe a little bit more extra motivated. But it's going to be a fun game. It's going to be one to watch. Patriots, like I said, their identity is still a little bit in question. They've shown us 3 different teams throughout 3 weeks, and it sounds like the 49ers are still trying to find their feeding, kind of find their working, and get back to being the dominant team. As I always say, though, any given Sunday, and it does not matter how you start the season, it matters how you end the season. But of course, Patriots
Let
fans,
me ask you, Colby, real quick, before we go.
Yeah.
I said if the 49ers lose this game, it's over for them. They're 1-3. They have 2 horrible losses. It sounds like you're confident in the 49ers. You said from afar, the Patriots haven't been good the last couple of years. You've kind of latched onto the 49ers as the team to watch and hoping that maybe they could beat the Chiefs. Everybody hates the Chiefs, it seems like. But let me ask you, if the 49ers lose this game, do you agree with me? Are you out on the 49ers being Super Bowl contenders through 4 weeks if they're 1-3 with a loss to the Rams, who were banged up, and then the New England Patriots in back-to-back weeks?
You definitely have concerns, right? But for me, again, it comes down to, are you able to build off of those struggles and move forward? To me, it's not about, week 4, oh, we have back-to-back losses. We lost against 2 teams we should beat. It's when you reach that halfway mark, are you still struggling? Are you not improving on a week-to-week basis? Because if you remember back in, 2015, I believe it was, when the Broncos went to the Super Bowl against the Panthers and beat them, they were dealing with injuries up and down the wazoo, especially with Manning. I think they won 7 games that season, squeezed into the playoffs, turned it on when it mattered the most, and then won. For me, it's not too much of a worry about what your record is like during the season, because how dominant you are during the regular season doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is getting to the dance and then making sure you dance when you get to the dance. So for me, I'm not going to be out on the 49ers, even if they do lose this game. I think the coaching is way too good. Now, obviously, Shanahan has that narrative about not being able to come back from games when he has a lead, but the coaching staff is still way too good. Your overall roster, offensively and defensively, is just way too good. And maybe you guys are just in a funk like a lot of other NFL teams right now, and you just need a little bit of extra time to find your footing. As Bill Belichick would say, real football does not start in September. In fact, September is an extension to the preseason. Real football doesn't start until about November, December. So if you guys are still struggling then that's where I would kind of start hitting the panic button.
All right. Well, listen, I'll be coming to you for some motivation to keep me going if that's the case.
I got you, brother. Like, we all got to team up. All of the 31 other teams in the league, we got to team up so that the Chiefs don't three-peat, okay? That's the only thing that all of us fan bases have in common right now. But guys, that is going to end it for today's video. Again, we will link Jesse's channel down in the description box below. Him and I did a video live on his channel you guys are going to want to check out. We talked a lot more about the New England Patriots side of things and my thoughts on this matchup involving our team. So show him that we are a good fan base. We're not biased. We're not delusional. We are a great fan base that shows love. Tell him you saw him here on Patriots Global in his comment section. Make sure you guys go ahead and check out BetUS again using that promo code YouTube150. That is YouTube150 when you sign up to get an exclusive limited time offer of 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit, followed by 125% sign-up bonus on your next 2. But Jesse, any last words before we log off?
No, man. Good luck to you guys, not only this season, but going forward. I know you guys are in an interesting standpoint where you're trying to rebuild after being this great franchise for so many years. Don't jump off the ship, Patriots fans. No bandwagon fans. You guys had it great for many years. You're blessed, but make sure you stay the course. Drake May should be pretty good. I like what you guys are building there. It just might take a couple years. Be patient, Patriots fans. Be very, very patient. You'll be fine.
Yes, sir. And hopefully I'm wrong about my 20-10 prediction. Hopefully we can come out with this win. But as always, I'm going to keep it realistic, and nothing points to the Patriots being able to win this game. At least they shouldn't be the team that ends up winning this game. But guys, on your way out, make sure you leave a big, big like on the video. Help support us tremendously. And of course, subscribe to the channel for all of your New England Patriots news. Appreciate you guys so much for watching. And of course, never forget, go Pats.